Welcome back to Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are joined still by JD Bunkis, which is great because he's going to help us parse through the Team Bs that the Leafs have had over the years. So it's become a running theme on this show, whether it's true or not, it's true. There's the Team A, which is the core guys who are here, and they've been a part of this whole thing. And every year, they try and tape on different pieces and try to make a Stanley Cup champion. Not sure if you guys know this. Hasn't happened yet.
Were you ever on like a Team B?
I don't think I've ever been on Team A.
No. Never had like anything, any type of, because like I grew up in Whitehurst, Yukon, and we used to have like Team A and Team B for hockey tournaments.
Yeah.
Because they would want to send as many kids down to get as much
legitimate like whole group of cast off.
Yeah, because they would be like, well, we want to. There's not enough hockey tournaments up in the north, right?
Yeah.
So when they send the kids down, they're like, we can't just only send 30 kids.
Right,
like
all the kids got to go.
We got to send more kids. It's not all, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like I made it.
Yeah.
But I had one year where I was on Team B.
Yeah.
And there was like truly nothing more intense that you wanted than to beat Team A in practices or to like do better in a tournament.
One of my favorite chirps was that Team Canada B could beat anybody at a hockey tournament too, but that take has kind of gone out the window now.
I don't know. I still think they'd be very
competitive.
Wouldn't they be so fun though? Like wouldn't
Canada
actually
A, Canada B?
Wouldn't Canada B be the team that we all rallied around?
For sure.
Everyone
Canada
did.
A would be like those pretty boys on Canada A.
Just the worst thing you could do for your reputation is fight for Team Canada.
You want to be
who's their starting right winger for Team A. It's
One guy
probably the one
defects
here.
from Team A. He's like, I don't want to be those prima donnas.
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So looking at all the Team Bs, we're going back to the start of when John Tavares joined the team. Not going to read off all the names, but do you have a year where you go, in retrospect, that was the best Team B? And how does this year's group stack up to previous Team Bs the Leafs have had?
To me, it's a very obvious answer, and it is last year.
It's the best one?
Based solely on success. I mean, they won the first round since I was in high school.
Yeah.
And they had, Ryan O'Reilly, Sam Lafferty, Nola Chari, Kerfoot, Bunting,
Those are players.
Zach Aston Reese, Hall, and Shen, as well as, the other guys that are still on the team, Yarn Croc, Nyes, Camp, those guys are still on the team or whatever. But to me, that deadline, and I'd hate to give Kyle Dubas credit for anything, but that deadline was the type of deadline that should have won this core more rounds than one. Sorry.
But it's funny looking at that because so much of that was deadline. O'Reilly, Lafferty, Achari, Shen, that all came at the deadline. A lot of these other Team Bs were a part of the team for longer. Is there a year for you?
So I think this is I'm not trying to ruin the game.
Oh, here we go.
But
let me move these goalposts to see what I
just
need.
a touch.
Here we go.
Where it's like, are we getting the fully healthy team, like the fully team? Like what?
I think you're going to pick the same team as me with that question.
Well, yeah, just because if that's the team, if that's the fully healthy team, and the it's the
Montreal.
It's the Montreal team.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Like if you would have gotten the fully healthy Foligno and the fully
healthy Foligno changes things for sure,
dude. Foligno.
So we're moving goalposts then.
Oh yeah, they got moved.
Okay, well, but that's the thing. Okay, but if we're playing this game,
hockey's not allowed to happen where guys get hurt?
No, but here's the unfair part is if we're talking about this year's core right now, the guys around them are all healthy.
Yeah. So
it's like going into it, you would have felt the same way heading into the postseason. Like we're doing it all in the time capsule.
By the way, they had Jake Muzzin on the back end.
Yeah.
You had Spezza on the third line. Pierre Engvall, Bogosian was a part of it. You had a lot of guys that you felt could contribute.
I don't know. I like that kind of is. The only thing is, too, is like on paper, you look earlier and you say, wow, they had Zach Hyman and they had Patrick Marleau and they had. Yeah. So I think you can spin it in terms of a talent argument. I also think if you're talking about the best core, is there a. Oh, wait, we're only doing post Tavares.
Well, go ahead. Where are you going to?
Well, I was going to say kind of like the rookie year where they decided to keep all the own rentals, which turns out to be kind of like a bit of a mistake, probably.
They still had Kadri, JVR, Bozak.
Yeah, is that when you had that team felt a little balanced. They went out and got Brian Boyle and it's kind of, again, though, they're the babies. They're not who they are now.
Right.
So it's a tough one for me to do. I get it. Last year.
What year was that?
What, the very first year that they went?
16-17.
16-17?
Yeah.
So 16-17, that's I'm just pulling it up here.
Yeah.
Like that's when it was fun.
But
that was the most fun.
That's when it was fun.
But also,
if you're asking me which one was the most fun, that is the answer for me.
Absolutely.
Not beating Tampa last year?
Well, yeah, that was great.
No, 3 overtime winners.
No.
The thing is, we weren't beat down in 2016.
Yeah.
We weren't like that was like when it was still the
Just
hope.
happy to be there.
That's what I'm saying. Is those were carefree. I remember where we were for some of those games, like hugging and having the time of our lives, and it was genuinely the feeling was
Connor Carrick
Part of
played
this
6.
sounds-
Connor Carrick played 6 playoff games that year for the Leafs in that playoffs.
There you go.
Hey,
Yeah, Martin.
at a moment.
Yeah, that decor.
Marincin?
That decor was Connor Carrick, Martin Marincin, Nikita Zaitsev, Roman Polak, Jake Gardner, and Morgan Riley.
Good Zaitsev though.
Good.
What's so funny about
That's crazy.
What's crazy about looking back through some of these teams is you go, if you remember the peak of their career, like, they had Joe Thornton, they had Patrick Marleau,
That's
they
what I'm
had,
saying.
when you realize where these guys were at different stages in their career, it's a little different.
Can I tell you which team it definitely wasn't?
Which one?
2020, Dyson Barrie year.
Yeah, well, that year, that team
the
was
non-playoff year.
Yeah.
that team was on the way out of the playoffs.
That's
Columbus
what
year.
I'm saying. That year was the stinker year. That was this team has never been more fraudulent.
Kapanen, Robertson, Ceci, Dermott, Janssen,
Can you give-
Gauthier.
Can you give me one
Marincin.
Riley Nash Leafs memory?
There was one.
Actually,
Did he play? Did he play
no.
a single
he played
game?
2
He
games.
got in.
War
Yeah,
number
that's right.
20.
He did wear number 20. I'm surprised he retired. I couldn't believe Edmondson got to wear it.
War number 20.
Yeah.
And my memory was people going, he's going to lock people down come playoff time. He's ready.
No, because he had been hurt, and
That's
then
it,
he
but-
showed up. Was
They
like,
LTR'd him.
Yeah, but that was it. They LTI'd him, and they were like, wait till this guy gets in the playoffs, and then he's locking everybody down. And lock people down, he did not.
no,
No.
he was hurt.
Those are my memories.
I just-
Narratives and numbers.
2018, 2019, to me, was a really good one against the Bruins when they lost again in Game 7 there.
You know what's funny is
But Janssen, Dermott, Kadri, Kapanen, Tyler Ennis, which I just completely forgot was the
he was
thing.
actually pretty good
Jake
here.
Gardner,
was.
Patrick Marleau, Jake Muzzin, Trevor Moore, Zach Hyman, Ron Hainsey, Connor Brown, Nikita Zaitsev, Freddie Gauthier.
Great example of remembering names not where they were in their career, because you hear Trevor Moore and you're like, they had a 30-goal guy or whatever Moore is going to be this year, and he wasn't that at that
He
point.
absolutely body bagged Zdeno Chara in that series.
He did.
Sent him packing into the boards really hard.
I was actually looking into this once upon a time. They have been competitive in these first round series that they've lost, so that they've actually won a lot of playoff games. Like if you're Austin Matthews, he's probably won 3 playoff games a year for 7 years. He's probably got 20 playoff wins or something.
Dude, you know what I'm thinking too with this question about the core and the things around them is, so I think I'm with you, Bourne, like looking at the teams. It's the
I do
it's
want to
the
talk
North
about this year's
Division
team
year.
again.
Yeah,
before we're done here.
we will. I think it is the North Division team in terms of deepest, and that was if they're healthy, like they probably go on a run. It's probably the best team that they had. I also think
Tavares got hurt there too.
for sure,
And 10
but
minutes into the first game.
I think that one of the big ones in this, in terms of core around them, is Jack Campbell that year was red hot and awesome. And if you're talking about like how you actually felt in net, out of all the goalies they've ever had, like playoff Freddie Anderson was always spooky, right?
I liked it more than you guys.
This is
I love. No, are you
it's-
kidding?
it's-
I love
it's
Freddie
him
Anderson.
there.
I still apologize for him
No,
to this day.
no,
I
yeah.
still have a committee. I
he's
still
my
get in fights
number.
with friends about
He's my
how-
number one crosshairs guy.
Yeah, like no,
Oh, yeah.
we've had
No
a million.
question.
No,
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
blood feud. It's almost ended our friendship at times. When he'd let bad goals in the playoffs, it was like, oh, okay, so this is where the friendship dies.
Yeah.
Samsonov last year, he felt good. Still is Ilya Samsonov. And Jack Campbell, we thought for a second was like a guy.
Yeah.
The Oilers did too because they gave him all the money. They said,
Right.
look at this guy. He's amazing. We should give him all the money. But if you were doing like the confidence rankings of the goaltenders, where they were at heading into the postseasons every single year outside of maybe Freddie year one, it's got to be Jack Campbell.
And this is the worst year by
Far.
far.
Unless that depends how you feel.
Well, there was some Vezina buzz for Jack Campbell during that season.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
remember he was-
the first 3 months. Remember
was-
we were doing 6x6
Yeah.
conversation.
I
Yeah.
remember that. And I said,
Yeah.
I actually compared him to Cujo and said, give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough take.
I can't believe you brought that up.
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I said a lot of dumb stuff. I talk for
Yeah.
2 hours a day every day. I say a lot of dumb stuff, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost like you're trying to.
What really stuck out to me going through all these
Mm-hmm.
is that this year isn't that bad in
No,
terms
it's
of
very
like
comparable.
measuring up to what they've gone. Like it's not
Correct.
the best, but I do think that there is plenty there. If the Stars play, I guess the biggest difference would be at the point at where John Tavares is in terms of his
That's fair.
play. That's not as high as it has been in years
But that's
past.
not a part of this exercise.
No, that's what
right?
I mean. But
Yeah.
like to me, the core around the Stars is good enough for them to win.
Yeah.
It just comes down to them being good enough for them to win. Again.
So,
your thought on the score?
Yeah, this surrounding
Sorry,
cast.
this surrounding cast.
I think that there's more here to be unlocked. I never felt like anyone was Tyler Bertuzzi, like a fifth guy who, had a 30-goal season and played and has had playoff success. Like, I feel like he could still, like, in those Boston games, as much as you felt bad about other things, you felt like, oh, that's it. That's the guy we thought we had there. You saw Domi being competitive. Like, there were these glimpses of, I think all we said a lot was that we wanted this team to be different. They didn't have to be better. We just needed a different look. They couldn't be the same. I feel like it is different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be successful, but it's different.
So if I was really going to like boil this down in the most simplistic way, I felt good about the Leafs going into the postseason twice.
Mm-hmm.
It was
this year one?
No. It was last year, that team, and they won a playoff round.
Yeah.
And it was the North Division year where they were going to, and it wasn't just the Montreal Canadiens. We didn't know, and it's a bit fraudulent. It's hard to really figure out what they had because they played a bunch of bad teams essentially for the entire year.
A bunch of checked out teams.
Yeah,
that
like
being
it's just
there.
and it was in the bubble. There's all these different things, but I'm just saying, heading into the postseason, times where I was really allowing myself to believe and go, man, maybe they could make some noise.
Yeah.
It was those 2 years.
Yeah.
This year, what I will say is slotted in sort of third, where I'm going. If you believe that in the years past, the defensive style has resulted too much that way where they couldn't get that secondary scoring. I just think I could see a scenario where Nyes, McMahon, Domi, Bertuzzi, a lot of these other guys actually end up with a big goal in a playoff series, the one that you guys are talking about, and we'll see kind of how that materializes.
For sure. And I also think heading into it, like last year, the big complaint was the Leafs are going to finish second in the division and they're still going to draw Tampa. It was like, you know what? They can't get away from Tampa. You know, the Tampa Bay Lightning, at that point, they would have won the Cup the year before. This year, it's now feeling more like it's looking like Boston. I am the lone person I feel like that I ever talked to who's like, I don't think Boston's that great. Like, I know they just beat the Leafs a couple times. I got plenty of excuses why I don't think it went the Leafs' way in those games. I'm not, I don't know. Did they have a shot this year?
I just got a great I've been to the future. Prepare yourself for a first-round exit.
Thank you. We get that text in response to just about everything.